loose again. Edwards off the lane. Bumped it back down to Edwards. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won. Right now, and they take a downfield shot. And the catch is made. It's Riley Williams. Goes to the free. Touchdown.
All right, everybody, welcome into another edition of the Gridiron Uncensored podcast. And we are going through our prediction season. Trev, it's time for the Big Ten.
That's right.
Clearly, last year, the best conference in football, won the national championship with Ohio State. A lot of teams, did well in the bowl season, but we won't get into that too much. Everybody knows. And guys, this is just going to be a fun season, I think, in the Big Ten. There's a lot of new pieces, new quarterbacks. It's going to be a good time. But before we get into these previews, got to get you some new gear. And no, we're not sponsored, but hey, I just got my Michigan Rowback quarter zip. This thing is nice. It's high quality, all that stuff. Go check them out. They're partnered with On3 right now, so I got like 20% off from the Michigan pages. So go check it out if you need some new gear before the season. It shipped pretty damn quick too. But that's besides the point. Appreciate you guys sending out early so I can have it for this episode. Trev, let's talk some Big Ten football here.
Let's do it.
A lot to like about these top end teams, but people are already trashing on teams like Penn State and like when you look at the AP poll release, that just came out. They're like, what has Penn State done? Like all these things. We're going to talk about all this, guys. We're going to talk about contenders, dark horses, if there's pretenders
and
or
some overhyped teams.
Some overhyped teams is what we're calling. What was the other word you used earlier? I can't remember, but it was the 90s word, man, and it stuck around. But it's escaped my brain at the moment because I'm now a dad of 3, and I've also been drinking some Garrison Brothers. So enjoy. Trevor, let's talk football here. Contenders, I think it's clear who everybody thinks Penn State's in that natty or bust realm. But again, people are talking bad about
been in that realm
like,
for 3 years.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I think that's where people are coming from. What have they done to get this hype to be maybe the number 1 team or number 2 team? They can't finish big games. It's the same old story, same old song and dance with them. But I've been actually defending Penn State because I like what they have coming back, and I like the moves that they made in the portal at receiver to get quarterback some help. But the question that everybody then goes back to Alar, and can he do it? Can he get them over the hump? Can James Franklin get them over the hump? And I think those are valid questions.
It is some valid questions there.
And when you look at their schedule, Trev, we'll pull it up. I think it's winnable. I think there's room for them to definitely get up there. The talent-wise, they've got a ton of returning production. Again, they have returning quarterbacks returning quarterback play. I think it's just, can they take the next step and get that clutch gene? And I just don't know if Drew has that. I'm not even trying to talk bad about it because, like I said, I've been defending him online, which is crazy to me because I've said the same things. But people are taking it where they're saying he sucks. He's horrible. And I'm like, okay, no, I've seen what sucks. Did you see Michigan football last season and their quarterback play? Now, listen, we did have a Buckeye Slayer and a Roll Tide killer at the end there in Davis Warren. But, I'm not going to be too much of a homer on this. We try to keep it fair and honest. I think Penn State has a great opportunity here to really shut up everybody. Even though last year they won 2 playoff games, it's who they won it against. Everybody's like, okay, well, it was Boise State. It was SMU. Whoop-de-freaking-do. The rest of it's like, okay, you didn't go out and you didn't beat, Ohio State. You didn't go out and beat Tennessee. They're looking at the names. So Penn State, you have a ton to prove in my mind, but you're still a massive contender in this season. Trev, what did you think about them, other contenders that you have?
I don't think about them too often, but when I do, they are a contender, unfortunately.
It's fair.
I mean, look, whether I like them, dislike them, whether I think Franklin's a piece of shit or not, I think that he's assembled a good enough team where he barely has to coach. And that's something that you want. You don't want your coach to have to really coach these guys up. I look, Penn State's good enough. They're gonna probably be there. I don't think they're actually gonna make it to the Big Ten championship personally.
Oh,
So I think that they are gonna falter twice this season, maybe 3 times. This season. I'm not saying that the teams that they lose to are necessarily better than them. I am saying that they will have stumbles. They'll have 2 stumbles specifically, 3 if all hell breaks loose. But that's literally Penn State's all hell breaks loose is you have 3 losses in a season.
if that happens, the fan base is going to be absolutely rabid, and they should be. I mean, who would you say their losses? Do you think Iowa?
I think
Iowa,
Oregon. I have Oregon, Ohio State losses, and then they lose to Iowa right before the bye week, right before Ohio State going into Buckeye Stadium.
I don't think a 3-loss Penn State is with those losses is making it to the playoffs either.
I guarantee you they won't. They won't even be sniffing the Big Ten championship. But,
that would be crazy.
But that is worst case scenario because I think that they potentially could have a better team than Oregon, but Oregon might catch them. Might catch them just in general. Oregon has to go into Beaver Stadium, and no matter who you are, how much you care or like Penn State, that is one of the most difficult places to play in all of college football.
And it's a night game, no doubt.
It's going to be a night game. It's going to be intense. So honestly, and it's it's early on in the schedule. So Dante Moore is going to have a big test right out the gate. I mean, I don't care what anyone says. Oregon fans, I apologize. You know what? I'm not going to apologize. Your quarterback is unproven. Your quarterback room is unproven. So,
oh my gosh. Yes.
So let's just stop. Let's pump the brakes on having the. So, if you guys have been watching us, Oregon has been going in hard on having the best quarterback room in all of the country. That's crazy.
Their words,
not mine.
Look, there is talent there. There's no doubt.
There is 100% talent there. They are very talented, but to say that you have the best quarterback room in the country, you're just living in dreamland. I don't want to go living there either because I think Penn State's going to probably win that game. But that being said, I still think there's 2 losses on this schedule for Penn State. I don't want to get too deep dive into it, but that's where I see Penn State right now. And I think they missed the Big Ten championship. Now, if they avoid falter at Oregon and they only have 2 losses on the season, I do think that they still play themselves into a playoff spot.
I would agree with that. Even if you lose to Iowa and to Ohio State, I think Penn State's still sneaking in. Yes. In the one of the back stops, they would have, I think, enough with the Oregon win and depending on Indiana, Nebraska, how they finish. Another team, Trev. Like I said, I don't want to harp too much on one single team. We're trying to keep these.
I've got 6 teams here that are in my contender category.
Yeah, the Big Ten has a lot of teams that I think can step up this season, and we just mentioned Oregon, so let's talk about them.
Yes,
I'm lower on Oregon than a lot of people are.
Yes, you are.
Just because, and I've been catching it on the comments. Again, we've done all these previews. If you're new to us, go check out our YouTube.
Go find your team and go listen to what we have to say about them because we do go pretty deep in depth on the team, the recruiting class, the transfer portal, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean we took notes. We did all that stuff. All right. Sometimes we might mess up a name. I'm sorry. God dang. But either way, when we're looking at these teams, guys, there's so many, I think, in the Big Ten that have really improved. And I'd say maybe overhyped this season. I have Oregon in that list. I'm not trying to be a hater. Last year, I picked Oregon to win the national championship, and you guys let me down. So maybe I'm a little pissy at you. Maybe. But it's just for me, if you're not going to get it done with Dylan Gabriel, I don't think you're going to get it done with Dante Moore unless he has really had a turnaround on that year that he has sat, which is entirely possible. And I hope that's the case. Dan Lanning, I think, is a good coach, and I think they've done a fine job. But when you look at the quarterback room, again, it's a lot of unproven talent. And even Dante Moore's time at UCLA, he was thrown into the fire and things just went bad. But he did mature in taking his seat back behind Gabriel. So I give props there. It's just I just want to see it before I fully say, oh yeah, this team's winning it. They're going to the playoffs again. Like all these things. I need to see it. I don't know, Trev. What do you feel?
I like their team, but and I don't know if this is new news to Oregon or not, but I know that they just indefinitely suspended one of the nation's top receivers. So there's that. So there's a little bit of drama going on in the Oregon locker room. So they just suspended Jurion Dickey indefinitely. He is not going to be with the team ever this season at all this season.
Yeah.
So there's that. I know that they have talent. I know you guys will say, "Oh, we got all the talent in the world at wide receiver." But when the drama, if that kind of drama is happening in the locker room, I'm sorry to say, it will spill out on the football field.
Yeah.
It just kind of happens that way. That's the way it is.
Now, luckily, we're close to the season, but there's still some room. But you better hope you're ready to go for Oklahoma State.
Yes, absolutely. And I would say that me and Brendan will both shut our mouth if you guys wipe the floor with Penn State. And yes. Dante Moore shows out, we will shut our mouth and we will praise Dante Moore, even though we think he still is a good quarterback.
Yeah.
But if he outplays Alar in the Penn State game, I promise you, me and Brendan on Sunday night, we will be praising him in all the things about Dante Moore, and he would probably put himself into the Heisman race if he does that against Penn State.
Yeah. Listen, we're not ones that will just hang on to a take for like the whole time, just be stubborn. If something changes, we'll say it. But it's just we need to see it. But again, the team does have plenty of talent. The edge is going to be fierce. Linebackers got great players. The safeties, you bring in Thieneman coming over from Purdue. There's a lot to like about this roster. I just need to see the quarterback situation unfold because if things don't go well, then that's where I said I can see a lot of losses. I can see a loss to Penn State, to Indiana if they figure themselves out or if they're still in that same realm. I don't think it will, but Iowa night game, Kinnick Stadium. I'm assuming it's going to be a November night game. Minnesota is a team that's improved. USC is one that if they really step off, watch out. Washington is in the same way. So that's why I feel that way if the quarterback situation does not improve. But the talent across the board, it's top 5 talent in the country. I think it's number 6, according to 24/7 from their 2024 numbers. That new 2025 team composite rankings will come out at the end of August. So look out for that. Either way, this is a top talented team. Trevor, who else can be a contender? I think Oregon has potential. I just want to see it. So they're kind of on my shit list.
So where I'm at is I'm not going to talk about Ohio State. Everybody knows they're going to be there. I mean, if you don't, you're living under a rock.
Yeah.
So the next team I'm going to talk about, I guess you could consider them a dark horse, but Jed Fish and the Washington Huskies.
Yeah.
I have them as a contender for the Big Ten. And while they do have a tough schedule, they have to play three pretty darn good teams in Ohio State, Michigan, and Oregon at the very end of the season. But one, they play Oregon at Husky Stadium, and 2, they play Ohio State at Husky Stadium. Yeah. So this is why I think that their schedule is a little bit more favorable. Now, I will say that Washington Huskies, they get Colorado State and UC Davis, and then a bye week to prepare to play the first Washington State, a rivalry game, and then Ohio State. Now, Washington's got to be careful not to have a letdown against Washington State.
Yeah.
Before Ohio State. If they can do that and just take care of business against Wazoo or the Cougs, and then go and then Then you got Ohio State coming in. I think your schedule favors out nicely. Now you do have to go to Michigan Stadium, and that's never an easy place to play. And you have to do a Michigan Illinois back to back, which could be tough. But overall, Brendan, I like the way their schedule kind of lays out for them.
Yeah, but they're definitely in my dark horse category as a team that can really push it. Damon Williams, I think he's gonna be a special talent.
Yep.
I love the running back room. Coleman is a beast. I loved him in Arizona.
Yep.
The defensive line, I think they got some nice pieces. There's guys all over this field that I think is going to improve. And I like Jed Fish too. I think he got unwarranted hate after he left Arizona. Even though I thought if he
just got the hate because no one wanted to see him leave.
Yeah, I think if he had stayed, I think Arizona would have been in the playoffs last year, like no doubt. But that's neither here nor there. Washington, like you mentioned, the bye week early, and Washington State's kind of a shell of itself. They lost their top quarterback, their coordinator, but you still can't get slipped up. But then that Ohio State game being in Washington, I think that's definitely an upset territory for Ohio State. And the schedule is tough, but we'll see if they can manage it. I know you're not going to talk Ohio State, but you mentioned them, and I feel like I've got to mention just simply for playoff wise for them. I think they'll be right in the conversation again for the Big Ten championship. They always are. They hardly have a season where they lose more than 9 games.
Yes.
I mean, that's like historically. But for me, with a young quarterback, we'll see what happens. If it's Keen Holes or saying there's still conversation going on about that.
Yep.
Texas early, that could kind of leave you scrambling, and you don't really know yourself until that Washington game because you play Grambling in Ohio. You better hope those teams, give you good warm up, because if you go to Seattle and you drop that one, oh shit. Like I'm not even trying to be any way about it, but god dang, if you lose Texas and then Washington, okay, there might be some trouble, brewing, because of course you still have the Michigan problem right now. I'm not just saying that as a fan. You've lost 4 straight, and I think it is a mental block. It's regardless if you won the national title, to me that's a mental block. Penn State, you guys have had their number. That it is in Columbus as well. Penn State's got a lot of talent. We've already talked about them. We'll see. And then Illinois is another one that I think can cause some troubles. It's in Champaign.
I actually have them not even on the list.
You don't have Illinois on there at all? I know you're not feeling it.
I do not feel Illinois. I was with them one time 2 years ago, and ever since then they have just middled. They've been middling in the Big Ten ever since.
Last year, I'll talk Illinois real quick because they're on mine.
Feel free.
And again, you can go see all the previews.
Brendan's gonna hate me for picking the next team that I talk about. Probably.
I'm interested to see the next team. But when you look at Illinois last year, who did they lose to? Okay, they lost to. Oh, my damn schedule. But they lost to the big names. They went 10-3, but you lose to Penn State, you lose to Oregon, and then you lose a tight one to Minnesota. Last year's schedule worked out to where you guys had a really good chance to really go 11-2, something like that. But then when you look at how they finished, 3 straight wins in the Big Ten, and then you go on, you beat South Carolina. You have returning production at quarterback. I think he's a savvy veteran. I like what the team has. The biggest question is, how do you replace the wide receiver production? And I think they'll be all right there. I really do. But we'll see. When you look at their schedule too, for 25, like the first game that you play, or the second game, against Duke, that's going to tell you a whole ton about this Illinois squad, because I think Duke's really good. Indiana is going to be an interesting one in Bloomington. USC, again, we just need to see it, how Maeva plays. Ohio State, going to be tough. Washington. So there's room for this team to take losses. But if things are clicking, I think they can be in that top, bottom top tier, if I guess you will, bottom of the top. So we'll see about them. Trev, who is the team you're talking about?
USC.
Ah, yes. Look, we mentioned it in the preview. I mean, we talked about
Yeah.
it. I've got
USC is my
feeling that
final. Well, not my final. There's one other team, but I think everyone pretty much knows that I'm going to put Ohio State and Michigan into the contender category.
Yeah.
But these are my 6 teams. Final one for me is USC, and I picked them because I like the schedule. I like the way the schedule kind of goes out. They go their first 5 games. I think four 100% winnable. They have to beat Illinois in Champaign to give themselves a real shot. You go into the bye week, then you come out of it, and Michigan comes to LA, and then you go out to Notre Dame. I think you can beat Notre Dame in Notre Dame. I think that's a possibility. Notre Dame's good, but they're not unbeatable. And then really, then you just have to kind of contend with Iowa and Oregon at the end because I think the rest of them are easily beatable, including Nebraska. Sorry, Nebraska fans, but that's just
Yeah, they're not gonna like that.
I just think that USC's done enough with talent wise to continue to grow. I think the additions on the defensive coaching side, the defensive coaching in general is going to be better. I really hope. I wish they would have made a change at quarterback and Maeva not being the starter, but he's kind of notorious for once he picks a quarterback, he sticks with it until the literally wheels fall off.
Yeah, and when we did the USC preview, I think there's a wide range for this team again.
There
If
is.
things click and Maeve he has that growth, he gets a full off season of training and things go well and he turns down the turnover problem, this team is going to be really dangerous.
They're very fast everywhere.
That's a 10-win team.
They're
That's
very
a 10-win
fast
team.
everywhere. Absolutely. They're very fast everywhere. I think they lack a little bit of size at the linebacker position, but not bad. We'll just have to see the defensive side of the ball, obviously, because everyone kind of knows. Everybody knows how the woes that they've had at defense in the past, but I think they've improved. They've got some really good players coming in. I just think that they could be I guess you could say they can kind of be borderline dark horse, considering all the other teams that are in it.
Yeah, I think when you talk the Big Ten, there's a couple of main contenders, and it's going to be Ohio State, it's going to be Penn State, and people are putting Oregon in there. I'd say they're kind of on that bottom of the main. Just if Dante Moore tears it up, Michigan I think is a team that needs to be discussed. We saw how they finished last season after Coach Wink figured out the defense. And how to scheme it around the strengths of the team and not just putting he was doing some funky shit in the beginning. I'm not even gonna lie. But then he was playing to their strengths and playing the scheme properly, and he shut down Bama and Ohio State. I mean, he straight up shut them down. That's not debatable. And then this year, obviously, the quarterback situation is much better. So we'll see. Mikey Keene's getting healthy. He's started training again. Obviously, Bryce Underwood. So there's people that can actually throw the ball and not just throw it 9 times a game, which is unattainable. So I think that they're going to be in that tier as well. It just depends how quickly can Bryce come to and what these other teams on the schedule do.
And
because
we're gonna
look at the schedule. Yeah.
Yep.
I was just gonna people look at the schedule for Michigan, think it's super easy, which on the outside, there's not a lot of ranked teams on it per whatever. Oklahoma early is going to be a great litmus test. And then outside of that, you have Nebraska, which I think is an improved team. It's Matt Rule's year 3. Wisconsin's got a gauntlet of schedule. I think they're better at quarterback, and if they're healthy, then they can maybe be dangerous. USC's good, Washington's good, Michigan State. They're hoping they're better. So but
it's a rivalry game, so you can't really. In the history of Michigan State, you can never bet on like what the eyeball test is with either one of the teams, because once this game starts, you just never know what's going to happen.
Exactly, a lot of landmines, and it just remains to be seen. But if these teams don't pan out, Michigan has a really clear shot at going back to the Big Ten championship game And again, Ohio State at the end. And right now it's in Ann Arbor, and they've got the mental edge. I really think they do. And I know I'm a fan. Clearly I'm not hiding that. But I mean, look at how it ended last year. Yes, Ohio State was able to turn it around, win the national championship, which is awesome. And it kind of washes some of that bad blood off. But the images still, the planting the flag, Ryan Day standing there looking dumbfounded, that shit matters.
Yep.
It does. So let me know if I'm off base on that, but I don't think I am.
No, I don't think you are at all. And I mean, do you have any other contenders that you want to talk about? Because that pretty much rounds out everybody that I wanted to talk about. That I thought
probably, so. Iowa would be the only other one that I have.
As a legitimate Iowa, I have as a dark horse. That's my dark horse for the season.
Yeah, I guess dark horse wise, because like there's a couple like we already mentioned Washington.
Yeah.
I think Iowa's probably the other one that I have as a team that can really surprise folks simply because they have a quarterback that can throw the football. Crazy how that works, right? If you can throw and not just run, you're gonna upgrade. And look at them last year, 8-5, and they horrible offensively, with their quarterback situation. But they still, barely losing to UCLA, you barely lose to Mizzou. You do take it down. You take it, by Ohio State, whatever. And then the Iowa State game early was only a 1-point loss. I remember that game. So I think with the defense that Parker puts out, and you finally get a quarterback that takes some pressure off your running game, this is a team that can surprise some folks. Iowa State again early, Indiana, Penn State. The schedule is kind of tough, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Any? Did you have any others, Trev?
No,
I think
that pretty much rounds out
going to be a good
that I
team.
want.
There's teams out there that are going to be good. I don't think they have enough to contend for the championship.
Yeah.
But I think they can maybe knock somebody off, like I mentioned, Minnesota. I think Nebraska can do the same, and that's something Michigan needs to watch out for as well. If Sharon Moore is suspended, we still don't know what's going to happen with that. But apparently, that might be coming soon.
Anything's going to happen with that. I think
there's
blowhards talking shit.
Yeah, I think we'll see.
If there hasn't been a decision by now, then that's some bullshit.
Yeah, apparently it's coming in the next week or two. So
of course it is, right before the season.
That's how it goes, man.
Fucking stupid.
Guys, I got nothing else on the Big Ten. It's going to be an interesting conversation on who wins. Trevor, the last thing would be picks, right? And how many Big Ten teams get in? Who do we have playing in the Big Ten championship? Have you fluctuated?
I mean, I have and I haven't at the same time. So, like, for me, I think there will be a rematch. This is kind of really off the cuff, honestly, because all the teams that are in the Big Ten now. And this is I'm gonna get called a homer like crazy. But I am saying Michigan has a rematch against Washington for the chip.
That's definitely a lot of people will get on that because it's not, Ohio State, Penn State.
Correct.
But it's okay to not be chalk. It's okay to not do that.
Yeah, Michigan is not a chalk team, so I feel like it's more of an outside point of view more so than the favorite. I don't think Michigan's the favorite. They're not going to be the favorite this year. Not as long. I mean, they have a couple more recruiting classes, and they will be right in the conversation that we're talking about Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon. But in this case, I am picking Michigan to play Washington for the chip, and it would be a rematch from Michigan winning against Washington earlier in the season.
Yeah, this one that's a really good change up. I like that. When I look at this, I think Ohio State will still find a way to sneak in.
That's fair. I don't doubt that one a little bit.
And again, even if you lose early to Texas, which I think is the most likely situation here, you do kind of figure it out by the Washington game. And I think your talent is just, even though it's a lot of unproven guys, a lot of young talent, I think they're still going to be in that that 10-2 final
You still have the
category.
two of the best receivers in the country.
Yeah, I think that they beat Penn State in Columbus. I just don't know if James Franklin's going to be able to get them there. But I have Penn State Ohio State rematch in the Big Ten. I think it's going to be close. I think Michigan's going to be right on the edge there. I do think Michigan will beat Ohio State again. But so the two losses for Ohio State would be Michigan and Texas, and that's only one Big Ten loss, and that would put them in that category. And then Penn State, I think they just have too much talent to the return production. But playing in Columbus is going to be tough. Outside of that, I think you're going to have the 4 weeks before Oregon. You better be freaking ready to play Oregon. I swear, if Penn State, you lose to Oregon and you've had Nevada, FIU, and Villanova in a bye week to get ready for them and you lose that game, no, I'm done. I'm done with your team.
I would say that they are going to lose that game, though, still, Brendan.
Oh,
because Lanning is a better coach overall and better strategist than Franklin is. It's Lanning in all things being considered and what I think about the team and everything. I like Lanning as a head coach. I think he's one of the best, and he's very good at scheming and he's very good at adjusting on the fly during a game. He's one of the best in the Big Ten at it.
Yeah. So I think he's really good too. Regardless of how that season ended with Ohio State flaming him, I think he's a good coach. Trev, last bit. How many teams get from the Big Ten? Three
solid Big Ten teams. It'll be both teams that make it to the Big Ten championship, and then probably a Penn State, or even for me, it'd be a Penn State or an Ohio State didn't quite make the cut. Like they lost a game that they shouldn't have along the way during the season, and that was the tiebreak or something along those lines. But they'll still be ranked high enough to make the playoff.
I think it's very possible that Michigan gets in, and that would be their 4th team. So I would say that
I definitely see an avenue where there's 4 Big Ten teams in the playoff for sure.
Yeah, I think Ohio State and Penn State get in no matter what. Like even Penn State, obviously the way I have them showing up, I think they'll get in. I think there's a very real possibility that again Michigan sneaks in with 2 losses, whether it be to Oklahoma, which I think is very possible early, and then maybe a USC loss or a Nebraska loss, like one of those on the road. But if they beat Ohio State, that's going to propel them into that at-large area, and we'll see what happens with it. It is straight seeding, so it's something to keep an eye on. And then the other one that I would have, again, I think is possibly Iowa sneaking in there. I could see them being up there, but 3 I think would be the safest bet. Oregon obviously I think they're going to be in that realm. I don't think they're going 7-5. I said that's a floor like on the last episode, but when I look at their schedule, they should be in that same category. So I think 4 max, 3 is probably the most likely.
Yes, I would agree with that. Yep.
Let us know what you guys think. Let us know who do you have going in, who's winning or who's playing in the conference championship, who's winning it, all that good stuff. We want to hear from you in the comments. Let us know if you think we're off base because you do it anyway. You're
gonna let us know whether we want you to or not.
Yeah, again,
I know, and you know what? I'm calling myself a homer, guys. So just whatever.
Yeah, listen, we're not trying to hide it, but I think it's pretty fair conversation. Well, I guess it remains to be seen from you all. Yeah. So, guys, thank you again for your time. We appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe and check us out during the regular season. Trev, doing live shows on Sunday nights. Live shows
Sunday night, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern.
All right. You guys have a good one. We'll see you around.
Take it easy, everybody.